way to welcome you again tonight to another fascinating edition of the program Inside Liberia on Focus on Liberia. My name is Prince Moba. Today is Thursday, and as a matter of fact, it's the 31st day of the month of December. The year is 2023. It's great to be on this edition of the show. Thanks for joining me. We have not been here for some time, but we've been taking the microphone outside to ensure that we bring you news from other parts of Liberia, outside of Liberia as a matter of fact. And then we've been in the market, we've been talking to marketeers, we've been in the offices, we've been at the legislature talking to politicians, and also, of course, making sure that we bring you the news worth listening to. But on to next edition of the show, we go to the Supreme Court of Liberia, where you know about the case involving a former Chief Justice, Councillor Gloria Musu-Scott, and 3 other members of the family were charged by the court, by the Grand Jury of Montserrat County, and then they've been investigated by Criminal Court A. Today, the juror of Criminal Court A, majority of members of the juror, 9 of them brought down a guilty verdict against them for committing the crime of murder that resulted to the death of Cllr Musu. Cllr Musu is a foster daughter of the late Cllr Musu was a foster daughter of the former Chief Justice Gloria Musu-Scott, who died, of course, when her life she was found in a pool of blood in the home of the former Chief Justice Gloria Musu-Scott, and that actually took place early this year. And then, of course, that was on the 22nd of February this year when the news broke up in Liberia. And we follow it in the media with journalists. We've been following the case. So today, a Criminal Court A, that case been there. So the juror there today, a majority members of them brought down a guilty verdict against Councillor Scott and 3 other members of the family. So quickly, we are hoping to join one of our colleagues, rather, a journalist who've been following the show at the Temple of Justice. We hope to join as soon as possible. If we cannot get him, we're going to do our own analysis of it, and then we call it a day. But it's important to look at it. This is a very legal matter and a very critical matter that will go down in history in Liberia. The background of the case is that Cllr Musu-Scott was a niece to Councillor Scott, who lived with her, who she educated. The information is that Cllr was her brother's daughter, and she was actually named after her, the former Chief Justice Gloria Scott. And then Cllr been living with her. She was in Stellar Maris. She was a graduate student when the incident occurred. When on that fateful night, her body, she was found in the pool of blood in the home, in the private home of Councillor Gloria Musu-Scott. Why the news broke out? It was reported that an intruder entered the house and committed the crime. The police arrested the situation, launched an investigation, but the police investigation established that all those engaged that lead to the house were all intact and locked properly. So the investigation shows that nobody, no intruder entered the house. Since no intruder entered the house, then the crime of murder was committed by Councillor Scott and all others who were in the house with her. Now, here are the names of those who were charged. So that is the background of the case. Let me just do a little, let me just give you a little information about where we came from and where are we and how it happened. So here we go. So those charged by the Grand Jury of Montserrat County I, Councillor Gloria Musu-Scott, she a former Chief Justice of Liberia, a former Senator of Maryland County, former Justice Minister, and then the next person in line is Gertrude Newton. Gertrude Newton is a relative to Councillor Gloria Musu-Scott. We have Alex Johnson. Alex Johnson is also a relative to her. They all were in the house. And we have Rebecca Yonte Wisner. She is the elderly woman among them. They all were in the house. Those are the ones that were charged. They were charged with the crimes of murder, criminal conspiracy, and giving false alarm to law enforcement officer or the police. Those were the charges brought against, and the charges were brought against them by the special grand jury of Mosquito County. In the charges, it said the defendant action violated Title 26, Chapter 14, Section 14.1, Chapter 10, Section 10.4, and Chapter 12, Section 12.33 of the new penal law of Liberia. Now, here we are, right? Those are the charges, or these are the charges that the 3 or 4 persons been investigated on, and the investigation been ongoing. The lawyers been arguing. Witnesses appear on the witness stand. They gave their explanation of what they know. I think you are aware that recently a valid Cllr who was earlier on accused of committing the crime, and the police set him free on grounds that the police saw that he had no hand or no part into the murder of Cllr Musu. Valid Cllr was subpoenaed based on the defense counsel's request, and Valid appeared in the court and gave a testimony. And also, Jefferson Kochi, the law mayor of Monrovia, was also subpoenaed by the court. He appeared, he gave his testimony. Then Orange Liberia or Orange GSN Liberia and Lusa GSN Liberia, they all were subpoenaed. Then again, a foreign pathologist who conducted the autopsy on the corpse of the late Cllr also appeared and gave a testimony. With all of those, the defense and the prosecution accused each other, and then the state, through the jury of the juror in Criminal Code A today, came down with a guilty verdict for the 4 persons who are all members of one family. According to the indictment, that time when they were indicted, it says that, of course, like I said, on the 22nd of February, about 10 p.m. in the night, the defendants with criminal intent, or they armed themselves with a sharp instrument, and then they went about to commit a crime. It was not a knife, according to the indictment. On that time when the grand jury indicted them, the instrument that the crimes were committed with was not a knife, but it was sharp, and along with pepper spray. This is what it says: they willfully, intentionally, purposely, and maliciously inflicted several wounds or bodily wounds or injuries on Cllr Musu, leading to her death. And those wounds were inflicted in her chest, her right hand, her left thigh, and her left armpit that led to her death. Now, folks, following this live broadcast, even though the defense lawyer announced an appeal to the Supreme Court, where the case is going to be heard by the full bench of the Supreme Court, the pieces of evidence gathered from the police investigation, from the indictment by the grand jury, from the criminal court hearing of the case, all the witnesses' testimonies, and all other pieces of information will be gathered and put together, forward to the Supreme Court. Of course, we say in Liberia, the Supreme Court is a final arbiter of our law. That is to say, any case that goes to the Supreme Court rules Liberia is done with that case. Except where you take an appeal to other international courts as provided for by law. But as it stands, the criminal court A that took charge of the matter has come up with its verdict. And in that verdict, Cllr Scott and others were found guilty. They were sent by the prison. They're going to continue in prison until the Supreme Court start jurisdiction of the case. What do you think happening here? As you are following this case, what comes to your mind? Is it really possible that there could have been an intruder in the house on that day, in that night? On that night, on that fateful day, on the 22nd of February, at about 10 p.m. in the night, when they were indoor in the house, it is reported that the gate that leads to the house was locked. Doors were locked. Are you convinced that an intruder may have entered the house? How did it happen? Were they planned it? Because the security guard by the name of Moses Wright was also subpoenaed by the court based on the defense lawyer's request. Moses, according to the call law provided to the court, Moses has a communication with a number that was identified to be a number from Valitele, who was earlier on accused. What are you reading? What's coming to your mind? What are you thinking about? There's another thing I'd like to ask is, do you think the Cllr Scott, who have raised Cllr from a very young age, until she turned to woman now, she was in the university, she was a university student, in fact, a graduating student. Is there something possible and easy that she commit murder? Not just murder, but murdering the child that she's called her daughter. Is that something possible? What is coming to your mind, into your head? Or is it possible that somebody in the house, among the three others that are charged along with her, may have committed the act and she's trying to shield them? So folks, this is it. Unfortunately, we didn't get my colleague on the line. But we are following this case. It is our hope that the law, that law that does not see, the law that does not hear anything, will take its course. Since the defense announced an appeal to the Supreme Court, we follow the Supreme Court. I trust the men and women at the Supreme Court. I trust the Chief Justice, Signing You, who sits on top of the other justices that are on the bench of the Supreme Court. We will be following the case. We're going to make sure, as generally, especially focused on Liberia, we're going to be on top of it. Every time of the hearing of the case, we're going to be there to follow up. We've been doing that, and FOL going to bring you every bit of information you need to know. Folks, I ask the question again. What's the reading? What's coming to your mind? Oh yes, they've been charged today. They've been charged. They were found guilty today. A guilty verdict was brought against them. With that, they were sent back to the Monrovia Central Prison, where they've been since they were arrested sometime in March of this year, and they've been there. Folks, the question is, the report says all doors were closed. The gate was locked. The security guard who serves guard there was on duty that night. One of Moses' right was on duty. Is it something that somebody may have entered the house and committed the crime and came back out? What are you reading? I am still thinking. I'm waiting to see what the law, what the court going to say. We are not lawyers. We are not judges, so we do our own explanation. We're not. Prejudging the case that is in the court. We just discuss the issue. When it happens, we discuss it. Today, it was day to see at the Supreme Court. At the grounds of the Temple of Justice, different lawyers were giving statements, speaking to the journalists, while the prosecution lawyers were speaking to journalists. And with that, the judge, it was after the judge took the decision based on what the juror found necessary. Of course, this is a juror hearing, it's a juror case, and when the juror comes up with a verdict, the judge goes by that. I can remember doing the 100 million US dollar case. When the juror came up with a verdict, the judge acted upon that. That is what they call juror hearing. And so, I mean, some other Liberians were saying they will go about, selecting the juror. It's a problem because people should be knowledgeable of the issue, and when they are selected as jurors, they will know how to go about to run up a decision. People say, oh, the jurors, you can just pick them anywhere and all those kinds of things. But that's a completely different discussion. But all we are saying tonight is, of course, FOL is reminding you of the long case we've been following since the beginning of this year. The incident occurred actually on the 22nd of February this year, and the case took center stage in March when the accused were picked up by police. They were sent to the police station. They were charged by the police, sent to court. The grand jury read the charges from the police and indicted them with the following crimes. Like I read the crimes earlier on. They were charged with the crimes of murder, criminal conspiracy, and giving false alarm to law enforcement officer or police. And that those charges violated the following provision of the new penal law of Liberia. Title 26, on Title 26, you have Chapter 14, Section 14.1, Chapter 10, Section 10.4, and Chapter 12, Section 12.33. Those were the violations. And so, folks, we're following the case. We will do our best as journalists to bring you information. They may not be the best you want to see or you want to hear, but that is what we can do. That is what we're able to do here at FOL. We hope that it helps. We hope that it gives information to our listeners, our followers. I do not know how long it will take. One of the different lawyers said in the next 5 days, they're going to be, presenting their appeal document to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court will look at them. The case will pick up from there. But as it stands, oh yes, they were found guilty today, and they've been sent back to the Monrovia Central Prison, where they have been since they were indicted. So they were charged by the police and indicted. As you may be aware, this is murder. It's first degree felony under the Liberian law. When you are charged with the crime of murder, you are to be in prison while you've been investigated until you can be found guilty or not. Oh yes, you remain there. That's what our law says. And we are aware also that when the indictment was drawn against the accused, they pleaded not guilty. Up to present, they are still pleading not guilty. So folks, we cannot reach out to my colleague, who is a journalist that covers the judiciary. Unfortunately, we can't reach out to him. Maybe the Christmas, he stay around looking for Christmas or so. But we hope to be here tomorrow night, honestly. And I hope to bring someone from the judiciary here tomorrow night. One of my colleagues, I'll look for somebody from there who reports from there to tell me something that they know of this whole, juror trial. What is juror trial? How juror are picked up or selected, and what happens if a juror trial, if it comes, if the Supreme Court rules, and if juror trial comes and a challenge and goes to the Supreme Court, what anything can actually change. We know that the lower courts had found people guilty before they come to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court overturned those rulings. We have seen it in Liberia. We've seen it for many times. But with this case, we are paused to see what comes out of it. Folks, this is Focus on Liberia. This program is called Inside Liberia. designed and produced by me, Prince Mova, here from the FOL Liberia office. As a matter of fact, we are located here on the Old Road in the Cllr community. Our banner is placed on the wall, focused on Liberia in white, red, and blue writing. You can see us there. Our numbers are also displayed there. You can contact us for your business purposes. We are here to promote you. We are here to do the business that you love so much. Folks, there we are. We're going to take a little risk on the issue of the speaker and deputy speaker thing. You know that the president submitted the budget on Monday. We know all of that. They on Tuesday we know all of that. But this is the trending issue, the trending case now in Liberia, the trending news on all of the news headline in Liberia. The court, the Supreme, that's not the Supreme Court rather, but the Criminal Court A today found former Chief Justice, Councillor Gloria Musu-Scott, and 3 of her family members guilty with the various crimes that I just read. Oh yes, they were found guilty for committing those crimes that resulted to the untimely, allegedly committed those crimes that resulted into the untimely death of one of our youth, very young Liberian lady, Cllr Musu, who was living with Councillor Scott. I cannot go beyond that. I'm just asking the question as you watch this live video. Think the way I'm thinking. What comes to your mind? What do you think? That night on the 22nd, following me, thanks for watching. This is how we're going to take leave of you on this edition of the program, Focus on Liberia Inside Liberia. Tomorrow going to be another day. We're going to take our Inside Liberia microphone to the market, speak with the marketeers, hear their story, share their story with you. Just say you're going to have your say. Until tomorrow, love Liberia. Think about this country wherever you are. We're going to be going through a transition of government from one government to another government. We have 6 years of the citizen government. There were a series of complaints, lots of complaints from Liberians home and abroad. Now, the Liberians took a decision on the 10th of October and the 14th of November. We took a decision, we changed the government. The president of Liberia, President Ware, will be turning that power authority to Joseph Boaga of the United Party. What are your messages to the president-elect? What do you expect of him? Talk to him, write your comments on Facebook. Write them to him directly if you can. Say what you have now, so that the incoming president can know how Liberians feel and think. Hold him accountable for things he said. He was just on the Voice of America and he spoke in an interview. He re-emphasized his stance on corruption. He re-emphasized that in the first 100 days, no car going to stop in the mall across the country. Those rules will be maintained and they will be pliable. He did not say you're going to put quota there. He didn't say you're going to put asphalt pavement there. Hey, at least they're going to be maintained. He says he's going to declare his assets and he's going to ensure that a foreign forensic auditing firm is hired to audit the outgoing government. Hey, Boaga says his government is not a family-shaped government, not a friendship government. There's a difference between family-ship, friendship, and managing. Those were the words Boaga used in the interview. With that, take care of those words. Hold him responsible. We're going to be listening to him on the 22nd of January to tell us what his government is going to do. Right after that, we'll be going for the State of the Nation address. For the first of a kind in the Boaga regime. He's going to be addressing the legislature through the Liberian, he's going to be addressing the Liberian through the legislature. The government's agenda by Boaga is going to be delivered. Listen to them. Follow them. Hold the government by that. Thank you for following me. Thanks for watching. My name is Prince Mova. This is Focus on Liberia. We are coming to you live and direct from the FOL Liberia's office here on the Old Road in Cllr here in Monrovia. Another time, I'm going to be here. Until that time, be good. Love Liberia. Tomorrow, FOL Inside Liberia bring to you another fascinating one. Until tomorrow, I'm out. Bye-bye.